One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
What up? Welcome into the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live right now on Spreaker.com. Also, make sure you download the Spreaker app from whichever app store that you use. You can also catch the show on TuneIn. And, of course, on my website, One Mic with Big Mike.com. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram at the number one MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. You can also head on over to my Facebook page and make sure you like that situation. Same handle for that. If you want to get in contact with me during the show, text me at 404-902-8104. That's 404-902-8104. You can also jump inside the live and interactive chat room here on Spreaker. It's quite simple, man. Just go to Spreaker, sign up for your free, cost you nothing, Spreaker account, and then make sure you follow One Mic with Big Mike on Spreaker. And then once you start listening, you'll see a little thought bubble icon sitting there on the streaming player. Just click on that thought bubble icon. It'll get you right inside the live interactive chat room where you can ask questions, share your thoughts, update me on some things that I may have botched or missed during the show. Any of those things will do, man. So you can do that right now. Make sure while you're listening, you click the little heart button, the little heart icon as well. That indicates that you like the show. You can also click those little share icons as well so that your friends and your followers and all those people know what time it is. It's 7 o'clock every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's time for the One Mic with Big Mike show. All right. As far as today's show goes, we're getting ready for a Game 4 closeout game in San Antonio between the Golden State Warriors and, of course, the Spurs. So we try to get in and out here tonight, not stick around too long. Plus, I'm not feeling my best, so we're going to try to get everything said that needs to be said and then bounce. You know what I mean? So bottom of the hour, we don't have a guest tonight, so the bottom of the hour, I'll take you guys back in history, give you guys some little historical factoids and tidbits from the world of sports. I call it On This Day. We do it every show, either at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, depending on the guest situation. I wanted to talk to you guys also at some point tonight about what's happening in the world of UFC and boxing, how those two worlds are about to merge or meet, or there's a good chance in a meeting with Conor McGregor taking on Floyd Money Mayweather. And of course, you idiots haven't learned your lesson yet, so we'll get into that. I've got a couple of weird topics I want to get into as well. In the NFL, some meetings going to happen next week in Chicago with the owners, and they're going to discuss some rule changes, so I'll give you guys a heads up on that. And there's also going to be a slight change going on with the Monday Night Football booth, at least for one night, at least for September 11th. So I want to actually give my thoughts on that as well. But the big thing that I guess is on everybody's mind and everybody's lips today is the NBA playoffs. In particular, I should say. Look who's back. They got Sage Steele back doing NBA stuff. What's going on there? But yesterday, the Cavs, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they blew a 21-point lead to the Isaiah Thomas-less Boston Celtics. And in that game where that lead was blown, LeBron kind of did a disappearing act, man. LeBron only scored 11 points in the game. Didn't really do too much. Well, in the entire game, he didn't do too much. But in the fourth quarter, he was a missing man, which, all it says to me is that the man is human. We have confirmation that he is a human being, and he's capable of those things happening. Here's the thing, though. I don't think anyone is going to take this and say, well, there it is. The Celtics are back in the series. No, the Celtics have won one game in the series, and then if you put a gun to my head, that's the game they're going to win. Period, point blank. They're not winning no more games. It's not really. They don't have it in them. Marcus Smart went 7, one of the worst, under 30% 3-point shooters. Just caught a cold, man. He just caught the flu and went 7 for 10 from 3. You know, Avery Bradley's probably the most consistent scorer. He and I guess you throw Al Horford in there if you please, but not having your main guy. Yeah, it's not one of these things. It's not about to be one of these Cinderella situations. I saw an article today, as a matter of fact, too, that was talking about other bad performances by stars in the playoffs. And the list is kind of surprising. You know, the first person on the list is Michael Jeffrey Jordan in 1989's Eastern Conference Finals. Now, he had 18 points, 9 assists and 5 rebounds, but he was only 4 for 8 with the field goal. This was a game against, of course, it was against the bad boys, the Pistons. He was on the line a lot, so he went 10 for 11 from the free throw line. But in contrast to what Jordan is, and again, different from what LeBron is, Michael Jordan, especially 89, that's Michael Jordan, the scorer. And for him to be held to 18 points, 4 turnovers, that's a subpar performance in a big-time basketball game. We're talking Game 5 of a conference finals in which, of course, they lost to the Pistons. Then you got Reggie Miller, who famously said, you know, if we're going to go out, I'm going down with my clip empty. I'm shooting everything. In the 2000 finals in Game 1 against the Lakers, Reggie only busted him out for 7 points. One of the most prolific shooters in NBA history. 7 points in a finals game. 2 rebounds and 4 assists. He was 1 for 16, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? But these are the things that get forgotten because of the lack of scrutiny, or the scrutiny that didn't exist in this day and time. There was no Twitter, no Instagram, none of those. I don't know, 2000? Nah, I don't think all these things existed then. Maybe MyFace, or what was it called? MySpace? Yeah, that was probably a thing. Ray Allen, another one of the greatest shooters of all time. The 2010 NBA Finals Game 3, where he was with the Celtics. 2 points for Ray. 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He went 0 for 13 and 0 for 8 from 3. So it happens, man. It happens to all these guys I'm mentioning. Hall of Famers, Hall of Famer. Ray Allen, soon to be Hall of Famer. We all know what happened with James Harden in the closeout game just here recently against the Spurs. Didn't really work out for him. 10 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. Only 2 of 11 from the field, 2 of 9. And I guess those 2 were threes. So he's 2 of 9 from threes and 6 freaking turnovers, man. This is a guy who has a good a chance as anyone of being this year's MVP. Speaking of the year's MVP, Dirk Nowitzki in 2007, I believe that was Dirk's MVP season, right? 8 points. This was in a quarterfinals game against Matt Barnes. Those we believe Warriors, right? 8 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Only 2 of 13 from the field and 0 of 6 from the 3. And then LeBron had another one. He had another stinker in 2011, right? Who was this? In the finals against the Spurs. Unbelievable. 2011? Or was this the Mavericks? Was this the Mavs or the Spurs in 11? Let's call it the Mavs. 8 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 of 11 field goals, and 4 turnovers. Now, we can all agree that LeBron's a much better player than he was then. That was the first year in Miami. And then last night happened, you know? So then you got Kobe Bryant in 2006. Now this one's gonna kind of weird you out a little bit because it's not gonna sound like anything in the offset. 24 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 8 for 16 from the field. You say, well, how is that a terrible game? That's Kobe, 20 plus, 4 rees. You know what I mean? But the problem was he disappeared in what you would consider to be Black Mamba time, fourth quarter. In the second half against the Suns, he scored his only point after halftime on a technical free throw. That means Kobe scored 1 point in 24 minutes of play. I think we can all assume, we can all say that was a bad game. You know, he had 24 points. He had 23 of them at the half. So Kobe disappeared as well. You know what I mean? It's not one of these things where what you saw last night is exclusive to LeBron James. I think people just want to find a reason to not appreciate this guy's greatness for whatever reason. I don't know if you're a sports fan, if you're a basketball fan. I don't know what your reasoning may be for this, other than just idiocy, other than just plain idiocy, because it's going to be one of those situations for the people who feel like LeBron's a crybaby and LeBron's a little bitch, or the people who like LeBron or bronzesexuals, and these are the things that I see on social media. What's going to happen 10 years ago by, and then you'll realize that this has never been seen before. That guy, you know what I mean? You guys can make as many comparisons as you want to Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Karl Malone and whoever you want to make the comparisons to in the past. The fact remains that you've never, ever, ever seen this person, this athlete playing basketball. And quite frankly, you probably never will. As good as Giannis Antetokounmpo is projected to be, he's 22 years old. He got a bunch of stuff left to prove. Ben Simmons is coming up behind him. We haven't seen Ben Simmons play like 1 second of NBA basketball outside of summer league games last year. So with that being said, the appreciation is to be, I think, should be made now. You know what I mean? While you're in the presence of it. Like, I'm fortunate enough, I was not too young. I was old enough to see Michael Jordan in his prime. I saw Kobe Bryant in his prime. I'm seeing LeBron James right now in his prime. I saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the very, very end when he was with the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? And seeing all this, I understand, man, that Michael Jordan holds a certain place in the hearts of basketball fans that are like my age, around 30-something, 40. I understand that. And I've said it before on this show. Like, there will be no argument for me towards anyone about who the greatest basketball player of all time is. To me, based on my youth and my experience, is Michael Jordan. That doesn't mean factually, getting outside of my feelings, doesn't mean that factually, when it's all said and done, that LeBron James will not be the best basketball player to ever lace up a pair of sneakers. So if I walk up with somebody and they say who's the best basketball player of all time, and I say, and this is like in 5-10 years, whenever LeBron's done, and I say Michael Jordan, and they say, you crazy, it's LeBron James, I'm not going to argue. That's going to be the end of the conversation, because there really is no argument to be had. It's just easy and lazy to have the, well, MJ never did this. Well, what about this? And we talking about all the nitpicking and all that stuff. All it is people that's trying to solidify their position within a debate that's stupid, that doesn't need to be had. I remember being at the radio when I was working over at CBS, and me and a lot of y'all know Big Tigger. Me and Big Tigger started talking about this. That's just a stupid conversation. I was like, if I hear this conversation happen one more time on air, I'm gonna lose it. You know what I mean? He's like, why? I said, because it's stupid. It's the dog chasing its tail. Like, what are you gonna say if you're a LeBron supporter? What are you gonna say to someone who's convinced that Michael Jordan's 6 championships is the end all be all in that argument? Nothing. They're going to stand pat on that because factually it's true. Michael Jordan has 6 championship rings. He never lost in the finals. Okay. I don't understand how that necessarily makes someone a better player, because Michael Jordan went plenty of years without sniffing the finals. Another Hall of Famer had to come up, Scottie Pippen. Then they went out and got Dennis Rodman to replace Horace Grant, who replaced Charles Oakley. Now, I'm not calling Charles Oakley and Horace Grant Hall of Famers. What I'm saying is that, you know, people had to come into their own in order for Michael Jordan to ascend to the place, this godlike place that we see him at now. For the longest while, and I'm going to get into this here in a second too, this thing where you feel like you have to knock LeBron down because he left Cleveland. Come on. If I just say without context, if I just say to you, Cleveland or Miami, you're going to immediately say Miami. Immediately. Without even knowing what the hell I'm talking about. You're going to say that. This whole, that whole narrative of loyalty and that type of situation. It's so ridiculous and stupid. And I got something for that here in just a second. Shout out to the homie Emmett Bean. He's in the building. My man Reggie's up in here as well. You guys can join him in the chat room if you so please. You got to be listening via Spreaker or download that Spreaker app, man. And then click on that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player to get you right up inside here. You can also go to my website, onemike.com, and do the same thing. Make sure you click the little heart icon and those share icons as well so your people know what's up and they can join you up here in this chat room. You can also text the show at 404-902-8104, 404-902-8104. Reggie saying, you know, it all depends on the number of championships won. Of course it does. That's why everybody's always screaming Bill Russell. And by everybody, I mean no one. This dude got, how many Bill Russell got? 10 or 11? No one ever screams that name out, though, because it's quite obvious that Bill Russell wasn't the best player because he has the most champions. There was a man named God dang it, Wilt Chamberlain, that played at the same time as Bill Russell. And by consensus, anyone who knows basketball knows that Wilt Chamberlain was a better player. Individually, is a better player than Bill Russell. So if in 10 years, 5 years, if right now, if LeBron is seen as a better basketball player individually than Michael Jordan, where's the argument? Like, what has LeBron done individually as a player to make you say, you know what? He still needs to do this. Because if you say rings, that's not what I asked. I said individually. There's nothing, man. This dude is assaulting the record books every time you turn around. Well, there goes that name. There goes that name from the past. There goes that name. Replace it with LeBron James. Like, I'm a huge fan of basketball, and I love seeing greatness happen when I'm watching basketball. And there's only a couple of guys that you're really seeing it from. I know Russ had his triple-double and James Harden switched positions or whatever, but I'm talking about true, like, wow, that's awesome. I think Steph is one of those guys when he's on his game. It looks so crazy to watch him play. LeBron's another one, probably KD. Because these are dudes, like, we've never seen the stuff that that Steph is doing. We've never seen that. And before you say Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, I've spoken to the man. He agrees as well. Steph has the range. Oh, he got range off the dribble. Like, who does that? You name the guy in previous years, decades, whatever, that has had that. Then there's Kevin Durant. He's a 7-foot tall dude that shoots the ball like a guard. You understand? He shoots the ball like a guard and handles the ball like a guard as well. It's uncanny. And then you have LeBron, who is everything. All in one. Okay, his jump shot ain't the best in the world, but when it's on, it's on. And then everyone else is just they're just fans. On the court, if you're wearing a jersey, you're still just a fan of watching him play because there's nothing you're going to do about it. My man Emmett Bean's in the chat room. He's saying Klay Thompson is better than any 90s shooting guard not named Jordan. Let me tell you something, man. I can't even front on that point, man. And maybe it's because I just can't think of people right now. Ron Harper. Like, this is what a lot of people who are not of age don't realize about Ron Harper, because Ron Harper, by the end of his career, he became a champion and all those things, but he became this journeyman point guard for these Phil Jackson-led teams. But before Ron Harper blew out both of his knees in Cleveland, he was the Michael Jordan comparison guy. Like, he was the guy who battled Jordan at that two-guard position, and then the knees went out, and then they sent my man out to L.A. to the Clippers, to the wasteland that was it was in the 80s and 90s, and then he came back as a Bulls point guard, kind of, sort of, and a Lakers point guard. You know what I mean? But Ron Harper, man, when you start talking about two guards, and as my mind just kind of goes with me, I can't even front on that, Emmett Bean. Good point, man, because I'm thinking about guys like Jeff Hornacek. I'm thinking about guys like Allen Houston. I'm thinking about guys like Craig Elo. There was a lot of white. There was a lot of white shooting guards back in the day, was it not? Damn, I'm just Drazen Petrovic. He was white. I mean, he was foreign, but he was still a white boy. Reggie Theus. Remember? Oh my God, John Starks. Man, Mike Jordan used to get off the bus every game against Reggie Theus, and you knew it was gonna be 50 plus. It was gonna be 50 plus against that pretty ass dude every time out the box, man. But you're right, man. That's a hell of a point. Klay Thompson's probably better than on both sides of the ball too, because Klay Thompson's a hell of a damn defender, man. A hell of a my man. See, this is why I mess with y'all, man. Clyde Drexler, you can't really front on Clyde. I will say this about Clyde Drexler, though. He was like the Dominique Wilkins of shooting guards. If you cut off his right hand, he ain't going nowhere. That dude had zero left hand, just like Dominique. And this is why I was trying to tell people about players of years past. You know what I mean? There were some limitations that they had, and shout out to Jerry West. Jerry West was on the jump. Rachel Nichols show on ESPN, and he said it, man. He said, man, the ball handling today is ridiculous. Like if you take the ball handling today versus when he played, he's actually talking about his own era, and you rarely see this with these old cats because their era, nobody's doo-doo stink back then. You know what I mean? He said, I think his words were, you would have thought we were dribbling a brick or a rock or something like that. You know what I mean? Now you got guys like like Steph. Kyrie is so ill with the basketball. John Wall, Dame Lillard. All these cats, man, they bananas with the basketball. These are things that guys in the 60s and 70s and 80s couldn't even fathom doing with the basketball. It's like these dudes are out there with a damn yo-yo, cuz. Emmett Bean saying, can we discuss the supposed Celtics-Lakers rivalry? We can, but what about it? You know what I mean? It kind of points to something that Kevin Durant said earlier when he was asked about people talking about the playoffs being boring, right? And his comment was just like what mine is. Turn it. Like, everybody got like 300 million channels now, plus Netflix and Hulu and on demand and DVR. We got everything at our. You don't have to. Let me tell you this about last night's game. So I'm watching the Cavs and the Celtics, right? And I get bored. It's halftime. They up big. I'm like, wait, hold on. It's Sunday night. A bunch of stuff is on. You know what I mean? What is it called? The show on HBO where the people kind of just the leftovers. That's on Veep. That's on Silicon Valley. I'm like, all right. Get into this DVR, and then while the DVR is on, I'm checking the score, hitting the C button. I got Comcast, so you hit C and then the scores come up. And then with like 5 minutes to go, it was like 94-94. And then I cut it off. I cut it off, and I went back to the game and watched the last 5 minutes of the game. And essentially, after I turned my TV on this morning, that's all I need to watch anyway. I saw the big lead. The big lead, it evaporated, and then Avery Bradley hit a game winner. A three that bounced around the rim. I think I'm good. Everything else I could just get from the stats. Marcus Smart went crazy from three. Saw that. LeBron didn't do nothing. First half, Kevin Love was on fire from three. Couldn't keep it up. Here's the other thing, too. Like, stop talking about this dumb notion of you live with the three, you die by the three. No. In 2017, if you want to be good at basketball professionally, you live by the three. Period. You shoot the three ball. All these damn Memphises and Atlanta and all these bum ass teams who feel like they're going to post people up, they at home and they going to stay at home until they get shooters. Back to the chat room. The Celtics are dominant over the Lakers. They are the hammer. The Lakers are the nail in that series. That speaks to another point along the same lines of what I'm talking about, where people feel like they want variety and they want this what's the word I'm looking for? When everybody can win. Golly. Anyway, they want quote unquote fairness, right? But you don't. Because almost all the championships in the NBA have been won by the Lakers and the Celtics. They're the only two teams with over 6, and the team with 6 is the Bulls when Michael Jordan went on that run. You know what I mean? They got all the championships. So it's not really a lot of God, the word just was about to come out of my mouth. Parody. There's not really a lot of parody. You know what I mean? And the question that thank you, my man's in the building. I am No Dose is here. What was I saying? Like, I don't understand why people care that much if the Golden State Warriors are as good as they are, especially if you don't if you live where I live at in Atlanta. What you think? Like, if they didn't get KD, you'd have a chance? Wrong. If you cheer for the Bulls, do they have a chance if KD stays in Oklahoma City? If LeBron doesn't go to Miami, do the Knicks not have a chance? Hell no. But people want to make a big deal out of things that there are no big deals to be made out of. And it's so weird. Like, we get all this, KD's a punk. What happened to the loyalty? Y'all never, ever, ever talk about loyalty when it comes down to the ownership, though. They cut people, trade people. Isaiah Thomas might be on the trading block again. Now, there's going to be some people that's going to be emotional about it. His sister died or whatever. He scored a bunch of points. Isaiah can't guard nobody. I gave y'all the stat a couple weeks ago. Like, I think the first Isaiah Thomas and there was one other in the last 25 years of players being 6 foot and under or 6'1" and under that have lost their teams, that have led their teams to championships. I can't think of the other person. Oh, maybe Tony Parker. Tony Parker and Isaiah Thomas from the Bad Boy Pistons. It just don't work out, man. You can't have no little midget. As cool as a story as it is, as much of a baller as he is, that ain't the move, man. You know what I'm saying? It just really ain't the move. And once people get outside of their emotion and realize that exactly what I said to him is true, you'll realize. I mean, Isaiah Thomas can go be Isaiah Thomas anywhere. I think it makes it a bigger story because of where he's doing it at the historic the historic Celtics. You know, they tried to use, this is why I was talking about this a few weeks ago, and Reggie told me, man, let that man have that. I wasn't talking about Isaiah. I was talking about the way they were just, it felt like they were patronizing the death of his sister and using it as a storyline because apparently something magical was happening. Well, where's his sister at now? That boy hip is gone. He gonna have to have hip surgery, they saying now, which further diminishes his value when it comes time to trade him or pay him. He's gonna want $40 million. You dig what I'm saying? Who amongst us would believe that you should max Isaiah Thomas out as your best player for $40 million? Maybe you think so. I don't. You know what I mean? Because exactly what I told y'all was going to happen. The same thing that happened to Derrick Rose back in the day. When Derrick Rose was getting off and winning an MVP, he saw LeBron in the playoffs. He saw that monster that just swallowed his ass up in the fourth quarter. And I told y'all when this series started, this is what I was looking to see happen too. Like LeBron just starts swallowing this little dude up. Now this cat is on memes and everything. He got his head permanently affixed to LeBron's crotch. That ain't a good look. And I don't know. If they draft this kid Fultz, I don't know how good he's going to be. I'll tell you all this. I haven't seen that dude play not 1 second of basketball all year long. This is true. Like, when they was talking about the top players, and then his team sucked. The Washington squad sucked. I think they won 9 games. Why would I want to subject myself to that? And it wasn't even a big deal. Like Ben Simmons played on a terrible team, right? His I was gonna say his senior year, his year at LSU, but it was so much around him. I was like, yeah, let me check this kid out. Let me see what's up with him. And I saw him play 2 or 3 games, and I was like, yeah, it looks official. It looks like what it is. Same thing with the Lonzo Ball kid. You know, everybody was talking about this kid, Lonzo Ball, this kid out of UCLA. They start talking about stuff from my generation. You know, Jason Kidd. I was like, all right, let's see what we're talking about here. This kid that's supposed to be the Jason Kidd, and I don't see the Jason Kidd situation. He may have a. This is crazy to say this. He may have a better. He has a more consistent jump shot because that shot is ugly as hell, man. I don't know how that's gonna play in the league. We'll see, but I haven't seen a shot that ugly. Like Chris Dudley times Bill Cartwright ass jump shot. It just looked wild, B. Thank you, Reggie. So let's take a break. Because I kind of like this conversation. I wasn't sure it was going to catch you guys' attention, but let's take a break here, come back on this day and continue with this conversation about LeBron. I want to talk also about, on the opposite side of the loyalty situation, I want to talk about tanking as well and kind of get you guys' thoughts on teams tanking. I'll give you guys a preview. I don't care. You know, if it's for the better good, do it. You know what I mean? You get rewarded for it, do it. And all this stuff about something's got to change. We got to change the lottery system. Why? It ain't like the Sixers lost a bunch of games and now they about to play in the finals. No, they didn't. You still got to pick players. You still got to pick the right one. You can't pick no damn Anthony Bennett. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Also, tune in. And, of course, my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. No video today, but you can still head on over to my Facebook page and give it a like. And head on over to my Twitter and my Instagram and follow me there. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Today, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here, man, live on a Monday. Live on Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. Spreaker also has an app for all your mobile devices. Tune in, and of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. The show is also available on demand on every last one of those platforms, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and of course, YouTube. To get in contact with me, send me your text to 404-902-8104. You can also tweet me at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE, or jump inside my live interactive chat room by going to Spreaker or the Spreaker app, download that, or to my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. It'll get you up inside the live and interactive chat room. Before I get to on this day, let me address something that Emmett Bean is saying. He's saying that the league will eventually be a 6, 7 and up league. Well, I don't know if I want to go that far, because there's some like Isaiah Thomas is a nice piece for someone's team, right? And if you're gonna be Isaiah Thomas, you got to be as special as him, which also makes me think about this as well too. Like, I grew up in an era where like Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb was around that height doing work. You know what I mean? Why weren't they this good? Come on, Spud, you need to work on that game, dude. If Isaiah Thomas can do it now, and maybe because the game ain't as physical and all these things that people like to say, but I feel like now, man, after seeing Isaiah Thomas do work, he's gonna have to, get his man on. But to address the whole 6, 7 and up thing, like, guys are still special, man. Like Dame Lillard is still special. I mean, it's a guard league, man. It's a guard, ball handling, wing league. So if you can be one of those Dame Lillards, if you can be a Steph Curry, Chris Paul, and really get busy and understand where your game fits, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be 6, 7 and up, but you're gonna have to be special when you start. Like, now we sitting around here with freaking. We sitting here talking about 2, not just 1, 2 7-foot point guards, man. What? 2 7-foot point guards. We talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons grew 2 inches from the time he got drafted to now. He's 7 feet tall now. That's ridiculous, man. That's like an invasion of the body snatchers or something. Anyway, we'll come back and get to this. Let me give you guys these factoids and these historical tidbits real quick.
Now, let's take a look back
On this day.
Yeah, I am no Doji Rice. Spud was like 5'5", but from everybody that I've heard that's had interactions with Isaiah Thomas, they say there's no way in hell that dude is 5'9". They say he's more around 5'7", 5'6", 5'7". Anyway, on this day in 1970, the Buffalo Sabres and the Vancouver Canucks were officially granted NHL franchises for the 1970-71 season. On this day in 1977, Janet Guthrie, she set the fastest time of the second weekend of qualifying, becoming the first woman to earn a starting spot in the Indianapolis 500 since its inception in 1911. On this day in 1985, Pete Rose passed my man Hammerin' Hank Aaron as National League run scoring leader with 2,108. On this day in 1991, the NFL owners agreed to add 2 new teams in 1994. Those 2 teams were Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. They would start, of course, in 1995 season. On this day in 2002, Barry Lamar Bonds, at this time with the San Francisco Giants, he hit his 583rd home run. He tied Mark McGwire for 5th on the all-time list. And as we know now, asterisks, steroids, he's at the top of the list now. On this day in 2003, at the Colonial in Fort Worth, Texas, Annika Sorenstam became the first woman to play on the PGA Tour in 58 years. She ended the day 1 over par. On this day in 2003, speaking of LeBron James, a high school basketball star named LeBron James, he signed a $90 million endorsement deal. Meanwhile, your man, Lavar Ball, he's saying his Baller brand t-shirt company is worth $3 billion. Holla at me, son. And finally, on this day in 2003, the late, the great Steve Air McNair was arrested and charged with drunk driving and illegal possession of a handgun. He was released on $3,000 bond. Like, of all people who died, like celebrities who died, I don't really care. Like Michael Jackson's dead, or like Prince and these people. And when the news came that Steve McNair was dead, and they came live from the scene, and they talking about it was him and a young lady in there, I was like, Steve, don't let it be. Don't let it be, Steve. Not that he was cheating on his woman. Like, I'm not that type of moralist, but like that's the worst way to die, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you die at your side chick house. I was like, just let it be like somebody was trying to rob this chick and Steve was trying to be the heroic figure. He got caught up in the joint too. Nah, he was messing with a crazy bride, man. This bride that off herself after she off this cat, and now his wife got to sort all that out. It's a bad look, man. But, you know, I think it was 4th of July weekend, man. Yeah, it was stunning, dude. And like I say, not just because like I really like Steve McNair as a player. It was just because, like, I guess maybe more so as a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a dude looking at that, I was like, God, it's a terrible look. Because who got to put together the funeral processions? And then all his homeboys are at the funeral, and then she know that they know, but they trying to like console her. It's just way too awkward of a situation. You know what I mean? But, you know, I guess, man, from what I understand, to the way they kind of described it, my man Steve was like crazy sloppy. Like, the chick was a waitress, and he like take his wifey to the same restaurant that the chick was waitressing at. It's like, come on, B. I know you old country ass, backwoods Mississippi ass dude, but come on. Part of the game is that. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about LeBron. The bad game he had yesterday, 11 points in a comeback victory by the Boston Celtics, a game in which Marcus Smart, of all people, he started for Isaiah Thomas and then went crazy from the 3-point line. Yeah, put your mortgage or put your rent payment on Marcus Smart doing that ever again. I ain't even talking about this series. Like, I mean, ever again. Marcus Smart going 70% from 3-point line. Yeah, no takers. I ain't even gonna wait for y'all. I just know there are no takers. The other thing that came to mind as well, a conversation that I had last week on Facebook, because while I was gone, the finalists for the MVP were announced, and there was only 3, and LeBron wasn't one of them. And then, of course, I believe the NBA does that on purpose. You know what I mean? They do that so that people can start saying, "Oh man, it's a travesty." Really? Because of what we've seen LeBron do in these playoffs, he's been out of his mind up until last night's ball game in these playoffs. But the reality of it is this: it's a regular season award. The guys who are the finalists, maybe except for Kawhi, they had exceptional, like historic type of seasons. You know what I mean? And then Kawhi has the whole the novelty of being a great two-way player, the team's number one scorer and number one defender. All right. But the fact that LeBron isn't in this conversation, I don't think it indicts the MVP award. I think the MVP award indicts itself by continuously being called the most valuable player. You know what I mean? Because that means a whole lot of different things to a whole lot of different people. Like last night, you see what that Cleveland Cavaliers team is. You know what I mean? You see what that Cleveland Cavaliers team is without 23 playing at his best. Kyrie had an outstanding game. So did Kevin Love. The rest of the big, quote unquote, big three. Yet they were able to lose a 21-point lead against a team that really had no star power on the basketball court. You know, as much as I like Al Horford's game, I don't ever mistake that for me considering Al Horford to be some sort of star in the NBA. No, he's a solid-ass big man that has a lot of skill. But star level, nah, that's not a thing. So this is the team. This is the value that LeBron brings to the team when he's on top of his game. Doesn't matter how good those other two guys play. Doesn't matter. If he don't play well, they look very, very pedestrian and average. You can say the same thing about Kawhi Leonard, because guess what? Kawhi Leonard hasn't played in the first 3 games of the series with the Golden State Warriors, and they got blasted. You can say the same thing about Russ and James Harden. So if you got 3 spots and you got 3 spots and 4 guys to fill them, somebody that's deserving is going to get left out. My man, I am no dose. He brought up the term LeBron fatigue. He says, bro, you're having LeBron fatigue too. Nah, I'm not. Nah, I don't get tired of greatness because I know it's fleeting. You know what I mean? Like, Michael Jordan's not going to be around for long. At some point, you're going to see Kobe Bryant succumb to injury and look like a regular dude. Same thing eventually happened to LeBron. As much as a machine we think he is, eventually he's going to become normal and possibly bad at times. You know what I mean? So the key to me is to appreciate it now, understanding that it won't be there forever. That greatness won't be there forever. So I don't have LeBron fatigue. But I don't really care about these awards either. I think they're stupid anyway. You know what I mean? Like most valuable player. Why not player of the year? Most outstanding player. See, those are things that can more better. They still will incite some level of debate. But you can quantify those more. Who had the most outstanding season? A lot of people are pointing directly to average a triple-double. Done, over with, period. Right? But that's not what the NBA wants. They want these idiots on First Take and those idiots on the Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless situation. They want those people to be able to talk about it and be fake appalled by it. I can't believe LeBron didn't make it. I'm good. Like my man the other day was like, why not just name the award after him because he could be MVP every year? That's not true either. That's not a true statement. He's probably the most valuable player to the NBA as a whole based on who he is on and off the court as an entity, as a brand. You know what I mean? He's probably the most noticeable player. But, you know, guys had better seasons. Regular seasons. The regular season award. And Harden had a better season. So did, of course, Russ have a better season. Back to the chat room real quick. Dude averaged career highs in rebounds and assists and averaged 25 points a game. Yeah, this is all true. It's all true. But then I guess a lot of times you look at the mark of the line of demarcation is there's a certain level of expectation that comes with LeBron. Not getting that number 1 seed in a very down, even more down year for the East. A year in which the Celtics got the number 1 seed with the lowest win total in the history of the conference. You know, a lot of people look at LeBron with that. You know, even though, if you ask me, LeBron doesn't care about that. Because, like, what team in the East does he fear? Like, oh, my God, if we don't have home court advantage, it's not going to work out. Nah. Them dudes was taking rest and just like trying to get to the end of the regular season with a seed, or whatever it might have been, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just get there with a seed, and then playoffs come, take care of business. That's what they've done. So the number 1 seed meant nothing outside of the people who would say, "Well, look at their record. Their record wasn't as good as it was last year." Like, LeBron is just on a different plane than everyone else, if that makes sense. And it's not because of him. It's because of y'all. It's because of all the, well, Jordan got 6 rings. That's why. He can't worry about MVPs no more. He can't be worried about best record in the league no more. He has been attached to either you win the championship, LeBron, or you ain't crap. It's become a zero-sum game with him. And not by his doing. It's because sports fans are idiots. I say it all the time. Sports fans are idiots. And it's easier to digest something as simple as, well, he had 6 and he had 3. 3 more, or 6 more than 3. So 6 must be better. All right. I mean, like, I can't argue with that logic. So I said I wanted to talk about loyalty and tanking, because that's something that LeBron has been involved on both sides of. The Cavs tanked in order to get LeBron the year he came into the league, and he's been accused of being disloyal when he played out the extent of his contract. He didn't force a trade. He didn't start acting an ass. He just made a business decision that actually turned out well. Like, if any one of us made a business decision that turned out as well as it did for LeBron James, where would the complaint come from? He went to a warmer climate with more beautiful people to play with his best friend, or let's say to work with his best friend and their buddy. You know, Chris Bosh was just kind of like a hanger-oner, but, you know, his man. And out of those 3 years, they came away with 2 championships. I call that a win. You know what I mean? Outside of the whole not 2, not 3, or whatever, that makes for good fodder and conversation and all these things. But the reality is he went down there and got a job done. And then when the time was right, he saw what he was able to do, what type of power he possessed and influence he possessed. He's like, all right, yeah, Dan Gilbert, I know your racist ass wrote this like slave owners type letter about me when I left, which I don't never think a big enough deal was made about that. You know what I mean? Like, for whatever reason, Dan Gilbert became like, and the Cleveland Cavaliers became this like sympathetic figure. Weird, because again, sports fans equal idiots. Anyway, so he goes back and then he says, yeah, this is about to be my team. Like, I don't care what the name on the jersey is. I don't care who owns this mug. This is about to be my team. I'm going to tell you exactly what I want done. I want that bum Anthony Bennett out of here. While you at it, get this kid out of here too. This kid out of Kansas. Get him out of here too. Bring me a veteran. I need Kevin Love in here. I need this 20-10 dude in my life immediately. And from then it went on, like guys like Tristan Thompson, Mon Shumpert, and J.R. Smith. And he made this team, and in doing so, added pressure to himself, added a whole lot of pressure to him to I guess his legacy. Because if you do all that, and we saw Andrew Wiggins, I don't know if y'all saw, but if you paid attention to that Timberwolves team, you saw Andrew Wiggins this game continue to get better and better and better, him becoming a more skilled basketball player. And this is why Kevin Love was struggling. You say, uh-oh, did LeBron screw up? Well, turn around, couple things, go a couple of different ways. They end up with a championship in Cleveland. I think that adds to the legacy of LeBron James, probably to the same extent that the team failing would have taken away from because that's what y'all would have done. They lose that championship with everybody healthy. We kind of give him a mulligan, right, for the year that Kyrie's out and the year and Kevin Love is out. But if he loses it with all his guys, the guys he handpicked, you know what y'all gonna do. Stay your ass on the court. You ain't no front office. You ain't no GM. That's why they get paid. Y'all would have done that. But it's so funny how at the same time none of that comes back on the other side where the credit is not given. You know, you do it in a mocking way, like LeBron. He really the coach and the GM. You do it in a mocking way, but not in a respectful way. In a way that we didn't see Michael Jordan do that. As a matter of fact, I was watching, I forget what I was watching earlier today, but maybe the thing with Bomani, I think it was Bomani talking about how Phil Jackson and Jerry Reinsdorf, they went against everything that Michael Jordan suggested. Like they went the opposite direction to get those to build those championship teams. So while we on the conversation of the things that Michael Jordan never did, or LeBron did that Michael Jordan never did, and all these type of things, Michael Jordan never did that. He never built the championship team. He was a member of one. But anyway, to the other end of the spectrum about the whole tanking thing. I don't know how y'all feel about tanking in the NBA. Like, I don't care. Like, I won't watch the Mavs because Mark Cuban was on Dan Patrick's show the other day. He just said, yeah, we tanked. Once we realized we weren't going to make the playoffs, we were trying to improve our draft position. What do you mean? Hell yeah. And for whatever reason, people act like that was some sort of revelation. I guess it was because no one ever says they are doing it. He actually explained how it's done. He was like, yo, the players aren't going to do it because they're players. They're bred, for lack of a better word, they're bred to compete. But what you do is you sit your experienced guys down, you make some trades or whatever, and you put a bunch of young dudes on the basketball court, and that's how a team tanks. I have no problem with that. Especially now where we're sitting at right now. We're sitting in a position where we're going to see the Cavs and the Warriors play for the third straight year in the NBA Finals. That's going to happen. I don't see a scenario necessarily presenting itself where we won't see it for 4 years in a row. Am I going to get tired of it? No. As long as KD stays awesome, as long as Draymond stays awesome, as long as Kyrie and LeBron and them stay awesome, yeah, whatever. Play it 10 years in a row. As long as the level of competition is the same, I'm good. But for whatever reason, so many of y'all got problems with teams building the way the NBA says you need to build. You need to build behind a star. Best way to get you a star is to draft that star. Like, the people here in Atlanta do not understand that. Like, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and we found out today that, I didn't find out today, Paul Millsap, there's a lot of money out of that, a lot of TV money, a lot of new CBA money. Paul Millsap is going to get him some. Now, the Hawks are saying he's going to be the number one priority. He opted out of his deal, or he plans to opt out of his deal and become a free agent. Him coming back to the Hawks, I think is a bad move for him. Plenty of other teams could use the services that he provides and be able to pay him as well. You know, this situation here in Atlanta, I talked about this with a couple of guys when Kyle Korver got traded and Paul Millsap was on the trading block. And I was like, you got to get him out of here. You got to get what you can get for him because he's going to be gone unless you just blow him away in the pockets. And if you do that, you're doing it to a 32-year-old power forward who's skilled, yeah, but he's still 32, which would give you a bulk of your salary. Think about it this way. You got a bulk of your salary invested into two low block guys. I just got through explaining earlier that the game is about wing ball handlers and guard play. Why would you just pour that much money into an older, let's call him a post-up player. I mean, Paul can step out as well and face up, but he's a block player. No, the tank should have been all the rave here in Atlanta, especially with the new collective bargaining agreement. That's going to pretty much guarantee for the most part, man, that you if you draft a star, you can hold on to him and you can keep paying him more than anybody else for like 14 years. And during that 14 years, that allows you to build around a guy through free agency and all these things. Then you have, the Supermax guys, the guys like we'll call him Paul Pierce. Paul George, had a brain fart, who won't be Supermax, so he's probably going to leave Indiana for the same reason. They had a star, they had a lot of pieces around them, and those pieces just left. And now they're going to find themselves in a position where they got to make a decision. You got to get your ass to the bottom If you sit around there and you start just kind of like treading water and you're not in the deep end, but you're not in the shallow either, the Hawks going to make the playoffs year after year after year after year. They're going to be the 6, 7, 5 maybe seed. And then what? There's no chances of championships. At least with the Spurs. The Spurs have the longest playoff run in the history of the NBA. But it's a bigger deal because the Hawks are second. It's a bigger deal because every year you feel like the Spurs have a chance of making it to the finals, conference finals, and possibly NBA finals. With the Hawks, no damn way at all. But for fans, especially the ones here who have no, they're not forward thinkers. It's all about the now. When the now sucks, the now is average. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's ridiculous too. Because then you lose your smaller market teams. Emmett Bean saying that's why he says only playoff teams should get lottery picks. No, the system works. Because, again, it's not like these teams who are tanking, it's not like the next year they're shooting to the top of their conferences. You still have to make the picks. The picks still have to be available. And as long as LeBron James doesn't, just like reincarnate himself and become 18 again to change the fate of someone's franchise, a lot of these dudes that's getting drafted, they good all-star players. Guys like Blake Griffin that's getting drafted early. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Karl Anthony Towns. These dudes are good basketball players. But it's going to take them time. It's going to take the team building, getting the right pieces around them for them to be actual competitors. If you're in the East, you got to wait till LeBron apparently dies before you have a chance. You know what I mean? That's what the Celtics are doing. People saying, give us that number 1 pick. Give us the pick for next year then. If we can't have this one, give us the one for next year from the Nets. They like, nope. Because all they trying to do is the same thing Joel Embiid said the Sixers are trying to do. We're just trying to wait out LeBron. We're just trying to just wait out LeBron. And by the time LeBron starts his decline, we'll be on the uptick. And then boom. Let's ride. Got a couple minutes here. Back to the chat room. As long as you still coach the team to win, sit your veterans. They don't get injured, and you develop new talent. Yeah, I have no beef with teams playing chess, not checkers, because that's all we talking about, man. We're talking about the reason you get on the court is to win. Yeah, for the players. But if Mark Cuban, for example, the guy who admitted it, if he want asses in those seats, he got to put a star on the court, and his star is no longer a star. Dirk Nowitzki is Dirk Nowitzki in name only at this point. He got to go find him another one. Harrison Barnes ain't it. He got to go find him another star. And the way to do that is draft him. Draft him and develop him. You can y'all can sit around here and play around all you want to. And look at the team that's going to be in the finals again this year. Kyrie drafted. LeBron drafted. Clay drafted. Steph drafted. Draymond drafted. And of course, there's KD. But the team without KD was in the same position last year. Because they drafted players and then they brought in guys like Sean Livingston, who people might have given up on. This year, JaVale McGee. You understand? Like, that's the formula. That thing in Oklahoma City wasn't supposed to be that. That was good front office work. How the hell you draft KD, Russ, and James Harden? How that happened? Then the problem creeps up on you being a small market team that we can't pay all these dudes. There's no damn way we pay all these dudes. You know what I mean? And for the longest, people would try to explain to me not trading James Harden, and I wasn't getting it. It's like because I'm dense. I wasn't getting it, but I do understand what people were saying about not trading James Harden, not paying him, because that's what I thought they were saying. You got to pay him, but I was like, they can't. They're Oklahoma City. They can't pay him. What people were actually saying was, don't pay him, but don't trade him either. Just take your chances. Get as far as you can with him, and if he leaves, he leaves. But don't end that young three. These dudes was like 24, 23 years old, man, in the finals against LeBron. And I understand people saying don't trade him. Just let it play out. And if you have to lose him, you have to lose him for nothing. That's fine. Because what they get in that trade, they got like Jeremy Lamb and whoever else. You know, people who are in like 4 different teams since then now. Top of the hour, man. Let's take a break. Come back, continue some of this conversation. I got some funny stories here I want to get into as well. We got to talk about Lavar Ball as well. Your man, all y'all guy, being like crazy disrespectful and just like he's putting that kid in a real crazy, like, bad situation. I'll get to your chat room comments as well. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com. Also find me on the Spreaker app that's available in all your app stores. You can also hear the show live on TuneIn and, of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at OneMicWithBigMike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try.
He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody. You know, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah, I Banged Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Monday. Here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. I feel like crap, man. I feel awful. Been sick. Not like you go to the doctor and they give you some medicine for something, but then the medicine, it makes you feel, it does something else to you, and then, you know, that perpetual cycle that is the American healthcare system. It ain't about the cure. It's about keeping your ass coming back. Anyway, if you missed any portions of the show, if you missed the first hour of the show or any of it, you can catch it on demand at Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. Spreaker also has an app available at your app store for whatever mobile device you may be using. You can also get it on TuneIn, OneMicWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And make sure you guys subscribe to the iTunes, the YouTube, the iHeart, all those places. Follow me on those places as well. Speaking of follow me on Twitter and Instagram. At the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Text the show at 404-902-8104, or to make it easier on yourself, just jump inside this live interactive chat room. If you're listening via Spreaker or my website, just click the little thought bubble icon. It'll get you right up in here. We've been talking about all things NBA so far. A lot of NBA talk so far about LeBron James having a terrible game yesterday, loyalty, tanking. Along the same lines of loyalty, y'all see Calvin Johnson? So he's kind of like he feels some kind of way about the way the Lions treated him on the way out the door. And they got kind of like a reputation for that, like the same thing with the Barry Sanders situation, for those of you who are old enough to know about that. And it again reaffirms my statement that no one cares. No one cares when the organization isn't loyal, especially in the NFL. My gosh, no one cares then. But you let your favorite player or a player from your favorite team make a decision that's best for his family and himself. Oh, traitor. Along with being idiots, fans are hypocrites. Because the day you tell any person in, let's say, Cleveland or in Oklahoma City, look, what I can do for you, I can get you another job, around the same job, have a lot more fun, but you'll be doing the same thing for a whole lot of money. But you can do it in San Francisco instead of Oklahoma City. Yeah. You be on the first thing smoking out of town. No one wants to be in Oklahoma City. Like, Russ is doing it out of spite. You know what I mean? He's an LA kid. He's doing it spitefully because that's his makeup. You tell me I can't do something, watch. But with Kevin Durant, can anyone who watches basketball for real tell me that you don't see Kevin Durant possibly adding a couple years to his career by making that move? Because it's not a bunch of iso ball, Kevin Durant 1-on-4 type situations, or Russ 1-on-4. That was the whole Scott Brooks era. It's the new Billy Donovan era now with Russ. It's just like, Russ, you go get the other 5 guys on the other team. Now it's a bunch of ball movement. KD can still get his iso moments, but the difference is, guess what? You can't leave nobody to double him. KD can go out there and do as much work as he wants to one-on-one, and no one can stop him. He's 7 foot with a crazy reach and a shot. Your only hope, if he gets to that like free throw line extended to that elbow, is hope he miss. Because you're not affecting the shot. You're not blocking it. None of that stuff is going on. So at the beginning of the season, when everybody was talking about, oh, he's just trying to take the easy route, the one thing I remember saying was that, no, it's an easier route. Because they still got to play 82 games. Injuries happen. Losing streaks happen. Things like that go on. You know, they had a losing streak. As a matter of fact, a losing streak when he got injured. Like 3 straight games, right? First time in like 2 years, they lost back-to-back at the Oracle. Those things happen. So because something is easier doesn't make it easy. And this whole notion that you have to, walk over coals and fight a professional wrestler and do all these dangerous things and these ridiculous things in order for your championship to be validated, that kind of just makes you an idiot. Because at any given time, if I can do something as efficiently and as effectively and do it easier, I'm going to take that every time out the box. It's called working smarter versus working harder. I don't know who I'm trying to explain that to, because it's going to be the same thing. He's going to win a championship this year, and people going to act like it doesn't mean anything. Maybe not to your ass, but he's going to still have his ring, his trophy, possibly a finals MVP. Because you ain't going to be able to tell me that KD's going to get to the finals and just start deferring. Nah, this is what he came for. He said today, or I think it was today, that he 100% made the right decision, whether he wins the championship or loses the championship or doesn't win the championship. And I mean, I can vibe with that. I don't really have a lot of because you don't want to be presumptuous. You don't want to just presume you're going to win the championship. So I can dig what he's saying when it comes to all that situation. I said I was going to get back to the chat room after the break, and I don't want to be a liar. Emmett Bean is saying it made no sense for the Trailblazers to be in the playoffs. Well, you can say that about what we were talking about, 16 teams. You can say that about really like 14 of the teams that are in the playoffs. Like when the season started, you know what you were going to see. You know what you was going to see in June, right? It was going to be the Cavs, and it was going to be the damn Warriors. You knew that was going to happen. Everything else before that was just like, all right, I'll entertain it. The Warriors about to go 4-4-4. Shout out to Moses Malone. They about to go 4-4-4 to the finals. And I don't have no problem with it, because at some point it's going to end. And things are going to balance themselves out. Those kids in Minnesota are going to be better. You know what I mean? Zach LaVine is going to be better. Those kids in a small market like Milwaukee, Jabari's going to come back. They're going to be better. Depending on what happens with Drew Holiday and Boogie down in New Orleans, another small market, they're going to be better. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing in common with all these teams is they got stars, man. Somebody said earlier you can't build your team from the playoffs, but that's where you got to get your from the draft. I'm sorry. I guess it was Emmett Bean, maybe. Yeah, it's hard to build through the draft. No. But you got to get your foundation there. Look at the teams that are successful, man. Outside of Houston, who they brought in a proven commodity that the only reason they have him, the only reason they have James Harden is because Oklahoma City, as I mentioned in the last segment, just had an abundance of riches. And they had to at some point make a choice. I didn't even mention Serge Ibaka. They drafted him too. At one time, they had a 23, 22-year-old, whatever, Serge and James Harden and Russ and KD. So much talent to the point where James Harden had to come off the bench and be the sixth man. That's awesome front office work, man. I can't even front on that. They built that championship caliber team through the damn draft. Now, if that same team had been drafted by the Clippers or the Lakers, they never break up. We talking luxury tax out the ass. That team is going to be together forever. Well, maybe not James Harden, because at some point, if you James Harden, you know what I'm saying, you want to get your man on. You know what I mean? But you have to find your foundation in the draft. If you go looking around for free agency, you know what you end up with? You end up with a broken Derrick Rose. You end up with a broken Joakim Noah. These names that we know, Carlos Boozer, guys like that. Very few times you see a free agent come in and just make that type of difference. I mean, even with the Rockets and James Harden, going back to that, they traded for him. He wasn't a free agent. They traded for him in a situation where the other team had to trade him. You know what I mean? That's the same situation that Paul George is going to be in with the Pacers this year. The Pacers, because he didn't make one of those all NBA teams, they can't entice him with the big with that $70 million or whatever that money was going to be extra for making that team, that supermax contract. So now they're in a position where everyone and their mama know that they have to trade that guy. They have to. So they're going to get lowballed or just risk losing him. Look, maybe. And I'm saying maybe about Emmett Bean saying trades and free agents win championships. Well, that's everything. That's draft. That's everything then. You're saying that you have to have everything just right. And I'm saying that you don't. Because LeBron didn't get traded to the Miami Heat. He went as a free agent. And they drafted Dwayne Wade. The champions now. They drafted Kyrie Irving. They drafted LeBron James before he left. And here's the thing I'm going to say about this. I'm still not sure that this team is not as good with Andrew Wiggins. I just think it was one of those situations that LeBron took the known commodity over the potential of this young springboard athlete from Kansas. Like teams, like for example, here in Atlanta, Atlanta is the king of the trade and the free agent. And what? Nothing. Dwight Howard came through the door, and people said, oh yeah, Dwight's home. Dwight can't even get minutes in the playoffs because the game is too fast. He can't defend anybody on the pick and roll. John Wall was coming off that pick and roll, going about 16 feet and pulling up every time. So that's kind of like, it's kind of dead money. He's got to get it paid to him. You can't trade him nowhere else. He's the commodity that he is not valuable. He's a funny dude, Andrew Wiggins. You gotta watch some Timberwolves basketball, man. Andrew Wiggins is a hell of a ball player, man. And as he gets older, and as he and Zach LaVine and Karl Anthony Towns, they grow together. Before Thibodeau runs him into the damn ground, it's gonna be a good team out there in in Minnesota. They're gonna have to get some shooters as well, though. Before Zach LaVine got hurt, he was doing a better job shooting from the outside, but they're definitely gonna have to get some better shooters. Last, we'll move on from the NBA here in just a second, but I want to talk about Lavar Ball real quick, man. This dude, like I told y'all at the beginning, when all this stuff started with him, I was like, whatever. I leave him alone. He's a loudmouth kind of dude, but like I mentioned last week, like when you start getting into the realm of just blatant disrespect for people, I don't really vibe with that, man. You know what I mean? And those boys, those his kids. He can raise them how he want to. It's fine and dandy. But it doesn't feel like he necessarily cares about this uncharted territory that they're about to go into. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's because of just unbridled that stupid confidence. You know what I mean? How people have that stupid confidence where they feel like everyone sees them in the same light they see themselves in. I don't know if it's because of that, but there's just certain things that you just want to give the kid a chance. Lonzo will talk about. Give him a chance to get in there and meet his teammates, and his teammates not to have these preconceived notions about him based on his dad. And I don't care how many people, Magic Johnson, all these people try to say, Luke Walton them was like, oh, no, it's not going to make a difference. It does make a difference. Because you can't unhear what you've heard or unsee what you've seen. And the person that is associated with, when it's all said and done, will be the kid. When he get on that basketball court, he's looking across the court at a guy like Kyrie or a guy like Dame Lillard or one of these real ass ballers. They gonna make it their point not to be embarrassed by the kid with the loudmouth dad. So anyway, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, Kyrie Irving was asked about Lavar Ball, as a lot of these cats are, right? Asked about Lavar Ball, and he kind of, can I find the statement? Okay, here it is. He was on a podcast, probably Richard Jefferson's podcast or whatnot. He said he needs to back off and quote unquote let Lonzo be Lonzo. And that's real talk. Now, I'm not all about like advising people on how to raise their kids or whatever, but the reality is he's not your boy at this point. This dude is about to become a professional, a man making his money. This check ain't gonna say LaVar and Lonzo. It's gonna say Lonzo on it. His contract is gonna be signed by Lonzo. He's about to be on the road, 41 nights, 41 games out of the year without dad. At some point, man, and maybe this is just a question for the parents that are listening. Like, at what point do you loosen the reins and you let? Now, I'm not gonna say let go. I'm 40 years old, man. I'm gonna still call my mom if I got to get something off my chest, or if I got a question about something. I'm gonna call my dad. But at some point, man, he can't continue to be a boy, especially when you sending him into an arena that's inhabited by men, if that makes sense. So anyway, LaVar was on Shannon Sharp's show, Undisputed. Wait a minute, is Undisputed the one with Shannon Sharp, or was that the one with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock? Either way, he's on that channel. Like, they might as well get to do the contract and just bring him on staff. He says, quote, "How you gonna tell me how my son should be when you don't have a kid?" Once again, it's just your man just kind of like spitting out words out of his pie hole. Kyrie does have a kid. He's had a kid since 2015. So there's that. But then he does this thing, and I'll preference it by saying I'm not the grown man who's all on what you say about my mama. Nah, my mom's a beautiful woman. Nothing you can say about her is gonna get me amped up. I'm not around here talking about I gotta defend the honor of my mom to somebody who don't even know her. But I know I'm in a minority in that situation, because most dudes is like, you trying to fight over your moms. You know what I mean? So then he comes back and says, maybe he don't have the relationship that me and Zoe got. And I don't think he did. First of all, listen carefully. First of all, your mom wasn't there. So something's got to change, right? So something's got to change right there. It's not the same. Lonzo can come home and see his mom and dad all the time. We've been together. Most people with his talent usually has a single parent. Not two of them together. Like, the problem with all this is Kyrie's mom died when he was 4 years old, man. Like, what part of the game is that? Straight up. Like, what part of the game is that where you feel like you got to go there on a dude? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Y'all can come at me with all this. You respect him. He's a black man trying to do business. No, he's a 2-bit hustler, man. And you all have met this dude before. If you grew up in a black neighborhood, you've met this guy. So in the same way, you wouldn't call that same dude that from your neighborhood and in your barbershop an entrepreneur and a black man trying to make moves. The same way you wouldn't call that dude that. Just because you see Lavar Ball on TV and hear his voice on radio and stuff like that, it don't make him no different. It doesn't make him any different than that. You ask him how many shoes he sold. Ah, man, I ain't gonna tell you that. Which means not enough, not a lot. And I told you guys this before. This is the type of Ponzi scheme ass dude. I saw this Bernie Madoff movie the other day. He's that type of Ponzi scheme ass dude, but in a different way. Like, Bernie Madoff was a guy who leaned on his ability to get people to trust him. LeVar Ball believes that if he tells people something enough, it will become fact. He don't have to put no effort behind it. All your shoes, these shoes that people are buying, if anyone's bought them, I think someone posted the receipt 6 weeks out. You gotta wait. How you ain't got my? It's a sneaker, B. How you don't have it? We'll find out, man. We'll find out soon enough, man, where this is coming from, because just like a lot of people, he's already getting sued by some. Oh man, I read this the other day. Somebody overseas is suing him for that logo, because it's quite possible that my man, he didn't go and have no copyright search done before he just chose that BBB logo or B3B or whatever it is logo. You're going to find out, see if more of this comes out as your man makes his way through the league. Because what it feels like so much is that I'm going to promise big now and hopefully get the capital to back it up later when my son makes his way to the league. It's a hell of a gamble, man. You know what I'm saying? For somebody who fashions themselves as a businessman, it's a hell of a gamble, man. But we'll find out if more of these lawsuits start coming his way, especially people that he owes money to. Because, like, these things take capital, man. You start getting stuff manufactured and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, these things take money. And I don't know what LeVar does for a living. He may be already a multi-millionaire. Maybe. Doesn't sound like it. He doesn't sound like the type of dude that is. When he can honestly say his son getting drafted by the LA Lakers makes his company immediately worth $3 billion with a B dollars. That's cool. Emmett Bean is saying he did it to himself. I'm sorry, what are you talking about? Who did what to himself? Is that the LeVar Ball situation or the what's the other kid's name? The Lonzo Ball situation? I don't know. We've kind of gotten past that. A couple more things here before I get out of here for the night. The NFL, I think I already mentioned this. They're gonna try to take a more lenient stance on the celebration penalties, which at this point, who gives a damn? You know what I mean? At this point, whatever. You know, you went too far now. Now you're trying to like reel it back in and make yourself look like some sort of progressive hero. When at the end of the day, what they do is they try to pimp your kids out. Well, we've got to set an example for the kids. You know what? As parents, you should be able to tell the NFL, screw you, I got this. But what the NFL also does, they make it easy for parents to be bad parents and say, look at what's on TV. That's why my son can't act right or my daughter can't act right. It's not why. You're a bad parent. Yeah, two more things before I get up out of here. One, I want to introduce you guys to a lady by the name of Beth Mowins, or maybe it's Mowins. But who she is she'll be the first woman to do play-by-play for Monday Night Football. So shout out to her for that. And also, if you guys are still around, man, I want to find out for you guys, like, what are your thoughts on this? You know, something that's been for years and years, Howard Cosell and Mike Tirico and whomever else have kind of dominated the Monday Night Football. Not the play-by-play, or excuse me, not the color. The color commentary is going to be done by Rex Ryan, former Jets and Bills coach, which should be a crap show in and of itself. But whatever, he may be all right. I don't know. I also don't believe that necessarily the booth matters unless it's good, unless it's like real good. I don't think it matters. Like when I'm watching basketball, I gotta be watching Hubie, man, or Doris Burke. Like those two who break down the game the way they do. I think Chris Webber's like way too wordy and he gets kind of condescending with it. Well, this is for people who are basketball nerds. Man, just say what you gotta say. You got to qualify it and like you speaking to a certain group of people. If you got something to say, your job is to make it palatable. So anyway, let me tell you guys about Beth Mowins real quick before I get out of here. Once again, she'll be alongside Rex Ryan. This will be his first time calling games. He'll be doing the color. This is all happened on 9/11, by the way. She'll call the second game of ESPN's Monday Night Football doubleheader. As we know, at the beginning of the season, they do an East Coast game and a West Coast game. She'll call the one between the Broncos and the LA Chargers. It's the first time a woman has called a nationally televised NFL game. So, yeah, big shout out to her, man. And if you're wondering, like, who she is and if they just went and found some broad and said, come make history, nah, man, this chick she's 49 years old, man, and she's handled play-by-play for ESPN since 1994, calling NCAA championships in basketball, softball, soccer, and volleyball. She called college football for ESPN and ABC since 2005, and I know who this woman is, too, now that I think about it. Because I've seen her call like those like Division 1 AA championships and those games in the playoffs for the lower division. So I know who this is, and some smaller D1 schools. So I actually, now that they say this, now that I'm reading this, I know who she is. And she's also had experience with NFL broadcasting, having been the voice of the Oakland Raiders preseason games. Maybe that's where I remember her from. Because I used to watch the Oakland Raiders preseason games because Terrell Pryor, the preseason king, at quarterback. He's a damn good receiver now. But the preseason king at quarterback, I used to watch some of those replays on NFL Network, and it would be her voice. So, yeah, you guys be on the lookout, man. Yeah, shout out to that, man. Like, she knows what she's talking about. And the thing I'm going to like about listening to it, I think, is because she knows the microscope is going to be on her. So she's going to have to actually just hell bring it, which is going to make for a better broadcast for people like me who care about that and who want to hear the Chris Collinsworth of the world kind of give it to me, real. Like, she's not going to do that job. She's going to be the person that, engages Rex and tells you the down and in distance, the emotions and things of that nature. Everything from what I know, I did some color before, and the guys who did play-by-play, it's a rhythmic thing. Getting your style and getting your rhythm and just continuously improve upon that. And because she's got so much experience, I don't see where that's going to be a problem. I know a lot of you Neanderthals will be like, I can't have no woman calling my football. Well, it's 2017. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can really answer that. And finally, last thing for the night, and I'm going to get up out of here because this basketball game is about to kick off. Warriors and Spurs game 4. Apparently, Dana White is saying that the Conor McGregor's portion or half of the McGregor Mayweather deal is done. I don't really have a lot more to say about that. I'm just updating a story because I feel like what's going to happen is y'all going to get fleeced. I said the same thing about Pacquiao Mayweather. This is when me and Rob was doing the show. We were doing the Sports Kings at the time. And I was like, look, man, all this build up, it's not even going to come close to what people think it is going to be. And he was like, man, you wrong. You wrong because I hope you wrong or whatever he said it to you. He was basically like, I'm just wrong because he don't want it to be because he was headed out there for the fight. It's the same thing with this. They're gonna be boxing. One dude is a boxer, the other one is a mixed martial artist. Like the only thing that I can maybe assume that you guys are hoping for is Conor McGregor start getting his ass whooped and he just like kick the crap out of Floyd, because that's what all this is about. This is what all Floyd Mayweather fights are about. Is the people who don't like Floyd wanting to see him lose and wanting to see him quote unquote humbled. Because again, as I started off the show, you MFers don't appreciate greatness. You can't just let it be what it is. You want to see it crumble. You want to see the vulnerability in it. If it sticks to straight boxing, Floyd's gonna kill this dude. He's not a boxer. He's not. That's not his discipline. And if he mess around and just says, "Oh man, I'm about to get my ass whooped. Let me just kick this dude so I get disqualified," you gonna still be mad then too. You're gonna be way upset. These cats are talking about making, and the money's gonna be there because these people do projections on these things, so they know that the money's gonna be there to be made. Because again, sports fans are idiots. Y'all will pay for it and pay-per-view it and go to people's sports bars and pay absorbent amounts of money to get in and see this travesty. All because it's two names that you know, and for a lot of you, just want to see Floyd get knocked on his ass by this Irish cat who got as much more mouth than Floyd does. It's just weird. I don't know. It's weird. It'll happen, maybe, and then I'll read about it the next day, and everything that I'm saying to you guys right now, it'll be confirmed. All right, man, that's going to do it. Let's go watch some basketball, man. Let's go check out this Warriors. The last game we're going to see of them to the finals. On our Friday, my man Jovan Buha is going to hop on and he's going to break down the playoffs and get ready for the finals. Maybe talk some NFL with him as well. He did some NFLPA stuff this past weekend, so I'm going to chop it up with him on Friday. My man Jovan Buha, NBA editor for ESPN, is going to hop on with me on Friday. Not sure if I'm going to talk to you guys on Wednesday. I got some medical stuff I got to take care of. Maybe. I feel like it. One of those things. I'll explain to y'all one day about all this stuff that's happening with me. Either way, man, the show is available on demand if you missed any of it on Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, as well as TuneIn, OneMicWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe for me if you will, and also like my Facebook page at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, same handle, One Mic with Big Mike. Emmett, Reg, I am No Dose. Appreciate y'all, everybody who listened on Spreaker but didn't chime in. I appreciate y'all as well. And until maybe Wednesday, I'm not sure yet. Just, I'll keep you guys informed. Until maybe Wednesday, man. You guys be safe and enjoy your basketball.